Hi everyone, my name is Raquel Suarez. I've been in Unilever for 12 years or so. So my experience started in human resources 15 years ago or so in an operational role in a country. So I spent there 11 years, which made me really understand what the business is about in Unilever. So I have partnered every function within Unilever, getting me to really know what the business is for. Then after that, I took a leap of faith and I went all the way around from Mexico. I'm Mexican to Singapore. And I moved into talent and organization, an expertise team for Southeast Asia. So I was looking after 11 countries in talent and organization. And now I'm based here in London in a global role, being the person who's responsible for what we are calling now Route to Talent. So basically, Route to Talent, it's about how do we tap into the whole total talent ecosystem, whether that are employees, freelancers, students, contingent workers, contractors, and so on. So we work with so many different people that we don't even know sometimes in the organizations that we work with. So basically, if I were to resume in a nutshell, what is it that I'm going to get you through and what are we doing, is how can we tap into that abundance of resources that are externally outside with those amazing skills when and if we need them at the right cost. Yeah? Super. So why are we doing this? The basic why for us on Route to Talent is because we need to unlock capacity for growth in Unilever. So we are an organization which we call ourselves, our strategy is purpose-led future fit. And we're very, very conscious that we need to live in the here and now, but we need to put this organization to be fit for future growth and in a sustainable and a purposeful way. So how to do that and how to honor and acknowledge all the people that we work with, for them to have for wages, for salary, for conditions and so on. At the same time that we as an organization unlock capacity for growth for ourselves, for us to tap into the right skills, for us to have the right business opportunities. This is Unilever. The one thing I like to say is that we touch the lives of 2.5 billion people every day through our products all over the world. So there is absolutely a responsibility that we have in terms of how do we touch those lives and how do we build products that are sustainable for this planet, as well as creating jobs for people, as well as bringing in products for people who are good products for them, for their health and for a sustainable living. What we've seen, talking about total talent or route to talent in Unilever, what we've seen is that in many organizations, ways of working are changing. Agile ways of working are changing as well. So 60% of organizations are reporting higher revenues when they start working in agile ways of working. And that means is removing hierarchy, starting to break down work in a different way, allocate that work into the people that they have, whether that is external or internal people, and all allocate those chunks of work into the right skills. Then what we've seen also is a rise of the gig economy in the US, in Europe, and also rising in different other parts of the world. So what we've seen is, for an example, in the US, they report that 44% of the total workforce in the US will be working in some sort of gig work. So they might even be working in a company and doing other gig work or working fully as independent workers. Also, we've seen that the millennials, and when we, you can laugh, but myself, I could probably say I'm at the first beginning of being a millennial. So imagine, millennials are not only these digital natives that are working in startups or working in remote year. We nowadays have millennials who are working already in managerial positions. And what that means is that these guys and girls, what they're doing is they're willing to work they want to work in a different way. They don't want hierarchies. They want to work in a networked organization. They want to break down work and allocate that work into different people, whether that is internal people, a freelancer, a student, a crowd. They want to resource in different ways. And they understand that we need to staff our teams up and down in a dynamic way. Why? Is because of diversity of thought. Because the kind of growth opportunities you find are huge when you tap into diversity of thinking. Also because it's much more cost effective, because instead of having a fixed cost, what you have is a variable flexible cost. And thirdly is because you bring in edge skills, the skills that you might not always have in your organization. So with this, we've seen also that all the kind of different talent, it's shifting as well. So there's a shift in ways of working, there's a shift in different talent. We can find professionals that for us means people who want to still work in a secure job 9 to 5 with some years of experience for fixed roles. We find gigs or contingent workers, people who want to work in temporary works, crowds, students. We're working in Unilever with talent swaps. So let's say myself and Chris, we swap 6 months each other into different jobs just to learn a new skill. And we found that we can work in different ways with our internal talent, that we can flex our internal talent, remove the job description and the boxes, and get this talent to work project-based as well. So our case for change is we need to unlock capacity for growth in Unilever, and we need to bring in an agile, flexible organization. Fast-moving consumer goods company, 50 billion company that we are, with 175,000 employees more or less. We need to bring agility to be able to really bring our products to the consumer in the way we need them. So how to do this is we need to enable the organization for fast access to the talent and skills that they need. And fast access many times is how can I have fast access to my internal talent, to external talent, freelancers, crowds, and so on. We need to do so at the right cost with transparency as well of development. I'll show you why for an employees, and diversity of thought. So we started with open talent economy 2 years ago in Unilever. That means is we defined a framework, which is this, and we started doing a mindset shift in the organization in which we told the organization, you need line manager to think of abundance of resources, new skills and new business ideas. And the way that you can do that is by tapping into freelancers, by tapping into your internal marketplace, getting people to work with you 10-20% of their time in a project which is good for you to unlock capacity, but because that will develop them. And then we're telling them tap into crowds for ideation or for labor crowd as well. And I'll show you some examples of this. Work with freelancers, work with agile ways of working, and do these talent outbounds. So after 2 years, what we envisioned and the progression of it is how can we build a platform, and that is a process end-to-end thinking as well, enabled by technology ideally, that can stop with that fragmentations of different technology or accesses that a user has, and can we bring in for a line manager one single page access for them to go into that page and for them to staff their teams up and down. So that is, imagine a hiring manager in which they can see and have visibility of the workforce that they have, not only the full-time employees, but as I'm saying, the freelancers they work with, the students they work with, the contingent workers and so on. They can see the budget, they can see the number of people, etc. They can go there and post and open a project, or they can open a role as well. And they can do this if they know what's the kind of work that they need to do. They can do this by themselves. But if the work is complex, which in many cases it is, you might need someone to tell you or to guide you through what is the type of resource that you need to tap into. So this is what we call the route to talent landing page. All access and fast access to these fix and flex external and internal resources. And for an employee is going into a place in which through artificial intelligence, you can be matched against opportunities, whether that is a project or a role. We've launched for projects, just to briefly tell you about this, we're doing digital selection and personalizing our recruitment and attraction for the different talent pools for freelancers, for professionals, and so on. That we call next generation recruitment, digital recruitment. We're working with artificial intelligence to match people, internal talent as for now, to internal projects and roles. We've branded that internally as flex experiences. We're tapping into open talent economy, which was the wheel that I showed you on freelancers, so opening up our ecosystem. And we're starting to do and work in agile ways of working in different teams. So how have we, before going on how have we done this, let me give you 2 examples so you can picture what this is about. One of the examples that I love the most is Pakistan, for us, is almost 1 billion company. The vice president of sales in there was and is a pioneer, and he's someone who has a thinking in terms of how do I think of this abundance of resources. He had a business problem or challenge, which was how can I grow ice cream business more, bringing in incremental turnover, and deliver ice cream in 10 minutes rather than hire a bunch of trucks or buses, etc., to go and distribute ice cream. So he didn't have FTEs, he didn't have the money to do so. Therefore, he needed to think creatively. He did a hackathon and brought in 17 vendors or so to pitch in different ideas. And the idea that won was an idea in which they developed artificial intelligence in a neighborhood. So basically, if you are my neighbor, you are going to go and buy ice cream. I put in that app saying that I want to buy ice cream, you go buy it for me and you deliver it for me. It's crowdsourcing, enabled by technology. But he thought of that by thinking on this abundance of resources. So it's a mindset shift, yeah? That is one of the examples that we have. And some other example that I also love the most is in what we call the Benelux, which is Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. The marketing team, it is a team now of 60 people. 60 is important because you need to reach some critical mass. They also had a business challenge, which was they had an amazing year in 2018, therefore they needed to grow more in 2019. It's always a challenge, how to beat your last year. They thought of working in agile ways of working because they needed to have diversity of thinking and they needed to work differently and deliver things at speed, more products being delivered. They started working in agile ways of working with scrums. They are working that, they hired a scrum master to learn how to do so. And because they had already, and they broken that mindset on breaking down work into smaller projects and pieces, what they were able also to do is become resourceful, to start tapping into freelancers, students, crowds, etc., to unlock capacity for growth in their team. So they are working in agile ways of working, they are being resourceful, and they are using this artificial intelligence as well, flex experiences, to match internal talent into their projects. These that I'm telling you are examples and pilots which haven't yet been scaled up. But if we were to do in a company as the size of Unilever to do this change, thinking that we will roll it out globally to everyone at one go, it wouldn't happen at all. They would have called us crazy. They wouldn't have let us do any of this. We wouldn't have the investment. It would have been very, very difficult. 2 years, we started the journey ago, and this is already embedding, you can hear about this in all the company, with more than 500 use cases and engagements on all of these things. We're already building the technology. Why? Is because we're starting experimenting. Because we didn't ask for permission. What we want to do is we piloted in different countries with people who wanted to do so. We built a story, we put some KPIs of success in there, and then we wrote a vision. We send it to the what we call the Unilever leadership team, the CEO and the board, and saying this is working. And the business case for it is this is the proof of concept in which we need this for the organization. And now we're building the technology for it. So this is the way we managed to scale this up. I'll stop here because I'm conscious that I only have 20 minutes, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a glance. Thank you.